Hey, how is everybody? We're back. Happy Monday? Labor Day? Oh yeah, it's Labor Day. That's why it's a weird day. Yeah, happy Labor Day. I hope everyone's not laboring today. But then here I am, streaming. You know what? I worked all weekend too. Oh well. Today was a half day. I was playing Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot, The Early Cases, whatever the title is. I pretend to know. I don't. Pretty good, actually. Like, the point and click detective games where you are connecting data points to create new data points to like have ideas and then be able to it's come a long way. It was kind of painful with the first few. Um, this one has been mostly a pleasure. There's always some bumpiness where you can't really conceive of the connection that they want you to make. You're like, these two are obviously connected, and they're like, nope. So, but yeah, this one's been so much less of that. The only problem has been sometimes some boring writing right in the middle where they're like, talk to everybody you've ever known. But overall, pretty good. We're definitely enjoying it. So anyway, here we are. This is our mushroom scene. Like I said, I got a lot done over the weekend, so I'll show you that, but I have to figure out what we're doing for a waypoint. So we're probably going to play around with it a bit. Maybe. I don't know if we're going to do themed ones. It could be interesting. Okay, that goes under there. Hmm. Just trying to think what. We'll try a bunch of things, I guess. You know, they should be different. They should definitely be different. Maybe we should open the mushroom reference. Maybe we try and do something more waffly. That makes sense. We should look. I wonder if there's going to be any that seem relevant. Which are cool. What says waypoint? Or maybe there should be a base waypoint and then we grow on top of it depending on where it is. Yeah, this waffly one's just very different than everything else. Maybe we decorate some stuff with just different types of mushrooms, but we can pull one out. That would be a good waypoint. Because you know what? I haven't made a full decision on it. It could be anything. And the idea that it's a fairy circle, which I don't know if I have any pictures of fairy circles here. Oh, let me get some. Oh, they're weird. And I mean, they should be weird because of what they are. So supposedly, I think this is pretty legit. So supposedly, they are all growing around a source of food, and they grow within a proximity. And the idea is that something in the middle of it is probably where something died or was buried. So yeah, it's quite possibly, most likely, a circle of death. The mushrooms themselves, from what I understand, are also toxic. Definitely not edible. Um, but I guess in the early days, there were like fairy rings that would pop up, and kids would run into them, excited to see fairies because it's such a weird occurrence, right? They think, maybe it's a magical spot where fairies planted that, you know? Kind of makes sense. Um, so yeah, they would like maybe eat the mushrooms and then pass out, and there was like a folk tale where people would believe that the fairies took their soul or something. But really, it was just kids eating toxic mushrooms because the circle was attractive at killing them. Which also makes me feel like fairy circles are somewhat effective, right? If they are mushrooms growing around dead things that then bring things in because the spectacle, and then they eat the mushrooms and then they die there. That's like a self-fulfilling cycle. Totally legit. But it's interesting. It's round and it's mushrooms, so it kind of fits. Do we go with the mushroom ring, the fairy circle? Okay, I assume we would do a smaller one. Oh, or do we put something in the middle of it? Hey, what's up, Toast? How are you? These are like, I don't know, kind of interesting. Hmm. What are you up to, Toast? How's your Labor Day? Hopefully you're not laboring today. That's cool and weird. You should save that too. Wait, is there really somewhere where there's a ring of these? I see circles. Are these really just a circle of nothing growing in clay? And it's hard to get an idea of scale here. Is that a road in the upper right? These are pretty big fairy circles. And it looks like where the thing, whatever might have perished, whatever's happening in the center is just like killing everything else. That's odd. I wouldn't call this a fairy circle. Spreading anti-labor propaganda? Good. Good job, comrade. I approve. Hmm. This looks so set up. Especially because there's the puffball right there, and they're just like, let's cram in all the mushrooms we can to this one. Also, why do I feel like they're usually white? White topped mushrooms. Anywho. Okay. Whatever. Got a couple picks. Might have been kind of a goose chase. I'll put this somewhere else. It doesn't feel like a fairy circle. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't inspire me. Gotta keep looking. You like fairy circle? I like them too. I want to make them meaningful. It was like a Diablo 2 game, putting a little circle of death, like mushrooms growing out. That would read well because I like the angle. But we're kind of like taking Diablo 2 and we're twisting it into a first person thing. And then we're even ruining this scale by like throwing it in a blender. You're a small creature in a big mech that somehow makes you almost average size. Maybe, but then some of the environment's going to have like giant mushrooms the size of trees, which is going to be maybe not disorienting. People are probably kind of used to it by now. I don't know. I'm piecing it all together. We'll figure it out. So what's your best anti-labor propaganda? Not that I need it, but you know, share the work and reduce the labor. There we go. That's my own. Beautifully average. Beautifully average. I like that. Man, wait, is Grimy on today? I didn't even check. I came back from playing point and click adventures. I don't see a Grimy icon on. Probably playing Starfield right now. I hope he enjoys it. Toast, did you ever play Lost Ark? Okay. I don't know about this. I was kind of thinking. I come up with maybe some dumb pseudoscience for it. So what if you had two portals next to each other? Maybe small nullified weird portals doing whatever. But then in between, you would get your kind of like slip divide into their astral plane. And then from the astral plane, you can route anywhere. But yeah, I don't know. Or like, how would we channel astral plane? Thin dimensional space specifically for astral plane. Wonder if I don't know. Gotta think about that. You just enjoy pointing out that we get a small fraction of the profits of her labor produces. This is true. The suggestion that Labor Day should be a day of rioting. But then what? The next day we just go back? Hi Yag. How are you? How are you? I'm trying to figure out what a waypoint should look like. You know, the idea directly stolen from Diablo 2, but reimagined in Ecablo. How do you turn that on its side? How do you make it really visible, but then not something that obstructs too much? You don't want it to be a Stargate, you know what I mean? That's too much. Yeah, what are you up to? Did you ever play Diablo or Diablo 2? I guess Diablo doesn't super count. They had shortcuts like Dark Souls. But Diablo 2 would have, let's pull up a pic. Wait, point. Images. So Diablo 2, here we go, the original one. They would just have these little waypoints, and you click on this, and it gives you a menu. This is an updated one. Here we go. They give you a menu of the ones you've unlocked so you can fast travel between them. But this was your menu right here. There was no world map. Just points in the ground that you click on and you get a menu and you can fast travel between places you've been. I like it. It's a beautiful simplicity. Unlike all the other stuff. This is Diablo 2. The round 3 flame thing is weird to me. You had to go Diablo 2 has 2, so Diablo 3 has 3. Ew. Grow up. And Diablo 2 Act 2 had these stylized ones for the desert, which I thought were really cool. So yeah, I have the functionality in. I just haven't figured out how I want to place them yet. I have them, you can kind of place them by hand if you want. And I was thinking about having them place automatically maybe when you travel a certain distance from every other one. Because we're procedural. But yeah, so they're going to definitely tie into villages, right? Every time we have a village, we should have a waypoint, because it is so weird to me that sometimes there are games that there are villages that are small, but you can't get back to them. They didn't warrant a fast travel. If it was spaced out enough to be a civilization, it should get a waypoint. Why am I building the largest game ever? Why not start small? Because it's not about finishing a game, it's about working on a game. Plus, we're actually getting pretty close to the end. We're actually in the period where we turn over to mostly art and putting data in. So maybe you should ask me this, years ago in 2017. Astro points. Hey, Catless, how are you? So yeah, all sorts of questions, right? Do I customize by biome what the waypoint looks like? Or do I have a base waypoint and then each biome has some sort of influence on that? Obviously we could have mushrooms growing in the mushroom biome. We could have vines in the forest biome. Maybe bushes in the forest, vines in the jungle or mangroves. Maybe just standing stones in the grassland. Maybe extra spiky ones in the mountains. Do you want to finish your menu game that only serves ads? You should do it. You should do it. Absolutely. Yeah. Also, this game has no monetization in mind. This is not this is not the greatest idea that I need to actualize. This is the most unplanned idea that's been executed for the longest period of time in my life. And we're doing really well. I think. Because yeah, we're really getting to the point where we're just gonna tie up some of these loose ends and then go crazy making quests and then balancing stuff for a while. And then the next tent pole we need to put in is, once you can play the game for a while, a progression system to make you feel like you want to keep going forward and have something to go towards. But also I want that out of necessity. So chicken and egg thing, but yeah, so that'll be a skill system. And then also to balance out some of the leveling hardships, I want to put in the crafting system, but again, out of necessity. And potions. So I guess potions will come before skills and crafting. But yeah, I wanted to do it organically. that's the biggest part of the plan. Is just make sure that we're going forward and doing things that feel good. Yeah, no, I have a huge amount of progress. We're like tying up loose ends on kind of like world stuff. I have like the loading and saving mostly done. Dungeons are doing pretty decent. Um, quest systems almost there, pretty much there. That's one of those things that's probably going to be worked on as we put more quests in. But I got everything I could think of at first. Do I want to have clean select place travel portals, or could it be something more dirty, like a network that throws you the next open portal in the direction you step in? I actually like that. So I have gone over it before. I think both of the games that I'm merging together are positional games. They're about being in the right place at the right time. Even to like control your enemy and where your enemy could be or would want to be. So like, yeah, the idea of entering portals in a certain direction, if it's not the most tedious thing and I feel like you can actually control it and that you're, planning destination travel, that could be interesting. So at the same time, it would be really annoying to get to your destination and then have to take a right turn by like going 45 degrees and then going some number, like a 120 or whatever, to go into the portal at a left angle. Yeah, the idea that you're doing another jig to get around, because where would we place you? Right? Probably just before it in case you were going to continue. Because if you were going to go straight, then why not let you just hold W and just keep like skipping forward, right? Lost Ark has some interesting quests and interactive elements. Ooh, okay, cool. How large is my code base? I'm going to say medium. I'm going to say medium, and I want to trim it down, and it would still be medium. Is this game part of my resume? Yes. As a contractor, I'm usually like pulling whatever code I have access to out to repurpose into other things. So like this has given me like menu code. It's given me some positional code, some teleport code. It's given me, I'm going to have a lot of wave function collapse stuff. I'm trying to think what else I have. I have like enemies laying around with animations on for when I'm teaching and stuff. So like it's big and it gets reused in a lot of places. And it's my AI in it. Medium? I mean, okay, but how big is large, right? I assume large is like pretty hefty. Yeah. So if I died and someone's looking at all of my code with no one to look at, they'd be like, well, there's a lot of crap here. There's just so much. But if I got the chance before that happened, there's definitely like at least a dozen scripts that I would delete because they were like tests for other things that didn't pan out. And I don't know if the code is super viable. Sometimes I think through just coding, throwing the variables down, manipulating them a bit. It helps me come up with the problems that I'm going to face and the obstacles like quickly. So yeah, there might be some latent crap to clean up. But I wouldn't say it's that bad, especially because I don't use other people's codes, so there's no like latent examples laying around. There's no, I don't know. Then again, my curve system has a lot of crap in it. Pretty much like pulling someone's library or like samples of something. That'll probably get used when we're starting to do effects and making it look good. There's a chance to play with the travel intercept mechanic. Should some magic wielding entity decide to set up a blockade somewhere? See, that's something I would need to plan. That sounds, yeah, intentional. Maybe. Right now we have teleporting. Teleporting's not that hard. I will at least want to use it when we get further into game development for testing purposes. But yeah, we could experiment with like repositioning. Blockades could be interesting. So are you thinking just a big blockade between portals that would block you from going there? It would be interesting if there's a magic void place. But it also sounds like a huge inconvenience that I usually complain about in other games. Like, cool story-wise, if we're like, this place, like, you just can't jump through. You're just gonna get slammed into a wall and you need to walk around. Or you could just hit a couple of waypoints in a different order. Sounds very Warhammer. I played Warhammer for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if there was some influence there. Between portals would drop you out of the warp like a bubble in EVE Online. I mean, what would the purpose be beyond like a quest? Or maybe a random occurrence? Would there be something hunting you at some point? Again, that feels quest related at least. Sorry, just trying to wrap my mind around it. This is how I process. Probably up to the lore master? Well, you know what? That's what I've been pushing off. Yeah, I need to lore at some point. Yeah, I got my little bit. I need to work on writing exercises. Something that helps me really explore and branch out and find the ideas that I like and push, I don't know, themes that don't make me cringe. It's time. It is time. Toast, you're right. Wait, are you talking about this, or is it time for something else? I assume it's this, right? On topic. Yes, it is time for me to actually work on lore stuff because now it's feeding into the art that I need to make decisions for. Man, have you ever played a game that like it's in development, like early access, whatever, and you play it and it's really cool, and then it stops development for a long period of time, and like every once in a while you go back and you play it and you're like, this is fun. I can't wait for them to expand it, and then when it comes back, it's a completely different game. Just thinking, Lords of Volcen, Wolcen, really good game. Really enjoyed it, but every time it came back, it was like, this is completely different, and I almost like the beginning, as ragged as it was, more than the end. Sorry, that was a total tangent. It would probably matter whether the portal network is only for players' fast travel, or do the entities use it, at least lore-wise? I mean, within the story space, I thought it was viable for you to be waking up these things that were just thought of as like statues or, I don't know, just taken for granted as part of the environment. You have a short book called Storytelling for Game Devs. Hmm. A short book, I assume. I'd be interested in that, I guess. Hey, Shish Kebab, how are you? Happy Labor Day, if that applies to you. What are you up to today? I'm thinking about stuff and procrastinating and talking about worlds building. Suffering on a MX minigun. Okay, well, how far have you gotten? What, is there like a cultural style you're going for? Is there a technology level you're going for on your minigun? Yeah, okay. Front part is done. Okay, in theory, probably the easiest part, right? And then how you decorate the back, that's it's on ArtStation. I have that somewhere. I think this one. Hmm. Okay, wait, it says two. Oh, I clicked it. Go to the. Thank you. This one. Okay. Okay, cool. Looking good. Okay, not too bad. I mean, yeah, it's looking pretty good. You need to figure out like a back handle, right? Wait, are there more? Let's download. I mean, I think it's looking pretty good. It's definitely a good start. Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's where's the ammo come from? The other handle. Hmm. Almost be cool if there's like a pivoting handle, but ooh, that could also be complex. Yeah, what it looks good. Yeah, what are your ideas? It's like half done? Sure. I could believe that. Yeah, handle the feed the there's like shells that need to come out, so it needs to be some sort of cartridge ejection. I think it's a good start though. The long part is going to be a barrel. Really? The, like three of them, right? You're saying this is also a barrel? This is what I keep. This is what's interesting to me. I like your concentric circles, but it's also just missing like any functionality. Oh, so there'd be a barrel, like a pickle barrel. Oh, hmm. It's kind of interesting. Yeah, I'll be excited to see what that is when it's done. Seems like it's going to go through a big transformation. But yeah, let's see. Trying to figure out what I wanted to do. What do we do for a waypoint? I kind of like Callus's idea, but it feels like such a thing that I would need to lean into, you know? And it's only been freshly presented, and I would need to make sure that I have ideas that I could actually, like lean into it with. It's on the table. Did I forget my notes? I forgot my notes. Give me a sec. What's my plan at the moment? I mean, that's a good question. What is my plan? Ideas are easy. No, they aren't, Toaster. No, they aren't. You take that back. Ideas are the hardest part. Yeah, coding functionality is the easiest part. Coming up with good ideas, that's the hardest part. Eject you, project you. So wait, what if you go into one and you're not facing towards another waypoint? No execution is the hardest part? You fight me? I mean, yeah, following through is not easy, but I don't know. When I need to make a creative decision, I feel like that one's tough. But maybe that's because some execution's really easy for me, so I just goad everything into the channels that make it easy for my mind to digest. I mean, could I just say when you're using a waypoint, we could have a small load screen, I guess, and we'll randomize if there's an event that happens, or see if there is maybe something that's just queued up. I mean, yeah, so that would just be like misaligning where your destination is. Right? That could still be the instant travel. Instant travel we could throw a cool effect on. And we could have something that's just like, before you actually go in the waypoint, are we going to do a fizzled waypoint or are we going to do a not fizzled waypoint? Okay, yeah, so that doesn't have to be a complete non sequitur to what we have. Hi, Wheelie. How are you? How's your Labor Day? Mine's good. I was lazy all morning. Now it's a little bit of work. Just a little bit of work. Maybe a lot of procrastinating. I gotta figure out a waypoint. Wheelie, did you ever play Diablo 2? I have to figure out what waypoints look like in a mech game. You have never? That's okay. I won't hold it against you. So yeah, I guess What is the thing that you would activate for a fast travel? Because, yeah, I think positional fast travel. Not anywhere, but you could probably get to somewhere, within a minute or two. Maybe. It extends the game a bit. Man, I have to pad out 2 hours. If your game is under 2 hours, people just return it on Steam. Just be like, I'm done. Thank you, indie dev. I'll play it and I may review it, but I'm going to return it because the money is precious to me and somehow not to you. So yeah, long games. You need to pad them out. Sorry, players, but it's a brutal world. Okay, so yeah, waypoints. There is a reason for that. But yeah, what should they look like? They need to be kind of big enough, but I don't know if I want them to be completely obstructing. Maybe having some mystical power, maybe having on-off. I kind of feel like activating something is very rewarding after traveling a long time. And then being able to travel back there, it's like a thing. Fast travel in a mech game? Usually not. It's more like select drop zone go and extraction shuttle. Yes, this is true. And this is where the merger comes in, because I always wanted a mech game that was much more fluid, like Don Quixote, right? Just out there traveling on your mech, going as far as you can, tilting the windmills, battling the giants, healing up where you can when you can. But also, your mech is made out of magic, right? Like, I gotta say, there's some sort of teleportation, right? What weird magic just doesn't stops short of teleporting you? Limited reach directional teleporter. Magic just needs time to recharge. I mean, this is true unless built on a power source, which would be the idea, I guess, of a waypoint, allowing you get to the waypoint and it shoots you to wherever you need to. I mean, why do we need to limit the usage? I think the usage is that you need to go to one to travel to another one. But I'm interested. What are your ideas? Why would it be limited? Like, I'm still on the fence about whether we give you potions. And you know what? Maybe the waypoint and your town portals are the only way that you're gonna heal. That's still on the table. Should the player be able to warp out from every trouble? Well, you can't warp to it. Like, you'd still need to get close. So if you want to coddle waypoints and huddle really close to them, then you're gonna run out of enemies pretty quickly, and the game's gonna be boring as you circle a small area over and over again. Yeah, I don't know if warping out is the worst thing. If they warp enough that they have to load anything, then their enemy's gonna load back probably with full health. So like, you can get out. If we're doing deathless runs or hitless runs, like, sure. I don't mind you escaping quickly, because shots could come from anywhere. Like, it's already gonna be brutal. Does work in space games? Exactly. And again, like, yeah, we're pulling the idea directly out of Diablo 2, because it does help you cover ground that you could travel on foot faster than, doing it on foot. So that's really nice. But then the idea of, yeah, The idea of unlocking something through exploring the world is like really important. Ever played any Diablo games? Sorry. I wish there was a way you could play Diablo 2 the regular classic or LOD. LOD is really good, the expansion. I mean, the speed run is like 6 hours unless you play a sorceress. It's much shorter with a sorceress. But then any game that's like Diablo is still not quite Diablo because they all feel the need to be different, which maybe they should, maybe they need to be, but then they all just do something weird. Weird that just makes the game weird. Diablo 2 feels like they nailed everything that needed to happen in the game to make a really full experience with nothing weird tacked on and nothing. Like all the other games are tacking on weirdness so they can be different from Diablo 2 because they feel like they can't be the same. So they have this chain on them that they're constantly fighting. I guess they want to do something that works in the space without copying. So what do? They're just chained to make some weird decision. That's what I've seen. Like Path of Exile, like it could have been kind of cool, but I got pushed away very quickly. Like the idea of having a grid inventory, like a limited space inventory, and you pick up drops and then you give them to a shop to get rid of it and empty out your inventory, but then the shop gives you stuff to fill your inventory again. And they're random pieces of crap that you could pick up off the street. Like garbage, like roots and scraps of paper and bullshit. So like, I don't know, to make a crafting system, because they were like, we're going to make crafting so integral and different, they like ended up putting clutter into their game, which defeated the inventory mechanic. Because now it just like has more clutter. Diablo 2 doesn't have much clutter. You actually have to choose between all the things because all the things could save your life or be worth gold, and sometimes you have to make a choice for that. But now this is like, make sure you have all the little pieces of crap around to do your crafting with, and it's just like, I couldn't deal with that. So just one example of how like games feel like they need to be different and sacrifice like almost a perfect game because reasons. Right? That always drove me crazy. Like I like in Diablo 2, I can have a nice clean inventory, everything can be organized, and I can restock it easily. And all of a sudden I want to sell items and I just get clutter. How does that help? That doesn't help any of the OCD people that play your game. You're now pushing away everyone OCD. Or just giving them more to stress out about in your game, which again, I think are both points to keep people out. Like when they realize they've spent all of their time moving tiny icons around a screen because there's so many little icons that they want to keep track of now, like that's actually kind of a problem. It's like, gotta try and cater to enough people, and like having an inventory system that allows for OCD also means you need to allow people to clean and organize. And then you also need to be responsible for how much they're going to need to clean and organize. That's just reality. So it's tricky. And then other games that have tried to like clean up Diablo 2, like mods, they'll do things like collapsing gems, which isn't bad, but then it also makes things feel cheaper. It's like a modern thing that you don't need, just like a quality of life thing that just feels like everything used to take up space and now everything can somehow magically collapse. Like you gotta stick with something, right? Is OCD something close to my heart? I don't think I have strong OCD, but I like a beautiful, cohesive game design idea, or like a user narrative. And the user narrative of I sell my item and I get I get this bunch of bartered bullshit that no one wants to keep around just to maybe craft something, and now they have to be on top of what they need for crafting. Like, it's just so much. And then you have things that are just for crafting, which I also think is not a great game design scheme. Like, all these games after Diablo, all the freaking item bloat have just like have double the inventory space because we're gonna have triple or quadruple the items, and most of them don't do anything except for allow you to craft something. I just like, I don't know. It's a weird mechanic. I don't want to have more clutter. I will say clutter is a problem for me more than the OCD thing because I hoard things. I'm a digital hoarder, and when I get into a game that has an inventory that allows me to like, or one that limits me at least, then that's a challenge. That's actually like the inventory is a challenge for my gameplay session. But not in a bad way necessarily. Or not in a bad way in Diablo 2. That's, starting to choose which ones make the most money so you can like keep buying potions to use mana to go fast, right? Like there's a nice loop to that. When you're then balancing all the crafting materials, it just like goes nuts. Have to agree, inventory management has never been your favorite. You're a horrible pack rat, right? Yeah, I want a looter that can also kind of cater to pack rats. So maybe there'll be too much stuff. Maybe I'll just have really nice sort buttons. So at some point you can just sort things by same type and modifiers and modifier value. So you can just like find ones that you have the exact copy of with lesser stats and just trash it, because that's the easiest way for me to actually deal with things, knowing that I have a better replacement for it. So yeah, those are the things I actually want to cater to. But man, I just think everything in Diablo 2 is kind of perfect. A lot of people say it's nostalgia or whatever, but like, who else balanced the like elements so well? Right? The gamblers out there using lightning, going from 1 to 1,000 damage, technically the most damage you can get in a spell. Actually, it could be really high. And then it would cast pretty quickly. Oh no, actually lightning had a cooldown, like an extra cooldown on it for reasons. And then you had like cold, which would be crowd control, and you have fire, which was like all damage, like upfront damage, but like high mana costs. It was like a good balance, really good balance. That sounds dumb, like for real. Just copy Diablo. Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Like Diablo 2 did it perfect, and I don't think they're gonna be insulted by you copying it exactly. If you buy Diablo 2 right now, David Brevik and the rest of the dev team, they're not getting any money, right? Take their ideas, steal their ideas, show them how beautiful you thought they were and how much you don't think they can be replaced. So yeah, I totally agree. But then there's the slight border of like, how do I actually merge this with a mech game? Because again, yeah, mech games don't tend to have potions. They have places where you power down and repair. And that's something I have to deal with. Like having shrines around, like in Diablo, like just exploring around and you find something that will heal you or that would give you your mana back or all those things. Like, it's not hard to see how it can all fit together. But yeah, there's like a weirdness where mechs become maybe easier to repair, like a lot easier to repair than every other mech game, because there's no clean like rearm, repair, refit stage, right? Or you have to set that up yourself. Yeah, that's kind of, I don't know. So yeah, I'm stealing that. But at the same time, what Catalyst is saying isn't that different, is it? Like, yeah, if you don't positionally go through it, but you choose a thing and it points you in a direction, and then you could get stopped, and when you get stopped, it would be somewhere between the two waypoints. That would make sense. I would probably want that just to be a small event. One that maybe I want you to deal with very quickly because it would be annoying. Aren't potions consumable? Sounds like that would fit in just fine with the gear selection and mech config. Well, so unless I go to the actual Diablo 2 grid inventory system, which I'm not 100% sure, I have an infinite inventory. Which means that I don't want to put potions in there because why? That's just clutter. So I want potions almost to be a separate system, not huge, but just something where like you restock what potions you want inside of a rack that you can see, and you click on the rack and the potion gets used, something like that. So yeah, definitely consumables, probably not in the mix because I'm hoping separating them makes it easier, because right now infinite inventory but compartmentalized, at least you can sell stuff off if you want to. But then how do I get the GUI to work for potions? Because you need a rack that you can see pretty much all of them, or one that you can collapse, like Diablo 2's potion system. Diablo 2 belt. So the belt that you're wearing determines the size of your potion. Let's see, can I find the belt open? Man, it's times like this that I wish I had Diablo just set up to run on stream. Why is this so hard? Open potion belt. Okay, here we go. This is an example. So, in Diablo 2, the interface looks like this, right? So you have your grid inventory, you can right click on potions and you can use them from your inventory. You can shift left click them and they will go into your belt in a sorted order. And this is your belt, right? If you have no belt on at all, you have these 4 slots and they're mapped to your buttons. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Just so we're all clear of this part. Do you always have all your potions available for use? I don't know. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Because yeah, what people have done to go past Diablo 2 was to have some potions that refill over time. And I hate that. That again feels like trying to modernize something that like, okay, so you can't buy your way out of this. So like there's only one way to play your game. There's no way to like, I don't know, hoard some items and pay things off and then maybe hoard potions for a while and then use all the potions at once, or I don't know, have a bunch of potions and use them at certain intervals. I don't know. They just like took all that out, right? There's no potions. So at least there's no clutter, but you have no agency in when you heal, except for clicking the heal button and hoping you don't need that again for a while. So I kind of like this idea. So it takes up inventory space, which again, I've been saying it's precious, right? But then depending on which belt you have, different classes of belts, once you get up to the highest tier, obviously you have the most things, but at first you're limited. It gives you different slots. Now this is not always open. Usually you only see the bottom ones, just like this. So he has a sash, so it should have one other layer of potions. And this is weird because they should be the same. Like if you have a healing potion, which is red here, everything up here should be healing. Because when you hit one, everything drops down. So you have a replacement for it. And when you pick up a new potion, it goes to the one that matches the one on the bottom. So if you did this, you would use this, and that would become a mana potion. And when you picked up another mana potion, it would replace up here. And actually, there's no way to replace any of these healing potions, because as soon as you use a slot with a healing potion, it's gone. So it's only going to replace, it's only going to put what the bottom one is, so it becomes a mana potion. So the circular logic, this is stupid. I don't know who in the world organizes their potions like this. This is tomfoolery. But yeah. But another ode to Diablo 2 and how perfect it is, when you take your belt off, all of the potions that are in your belt go into your inventory. So the way to quickly buy potions was to like shift click in the store. It would fill up your belt with potions that would fill whatever slots were open for appropriate bottom potions, right? Like I was just mentioning how they fill up. So you take off the belt, you right click the store, it will fill your belt. If your inventory is still open and you want more potions, you can pull your belt off again and put it back on, and you fill your belt, and your belt is full and your inventory is also full. And then when you're out there, if you don't want to go back to town, because waypoints are usually far apart, you just shift click things in your inventory and they should update into your potion stash. So yeah, consumable and limited. And yeah, so they are instant access. So you could just mash one over and over and get them all to go at once. There was one rejuvenation potion that would instantly restore health and mana. But otherwise, you would only have mana and health potions, and they would restore over time. They could critical hit. So this might be going too far. But yeah, potions could critical hit. So when you had a healing potion, there was I think it might have been based off of your vitality. So it would roll, and if it was under your vitality or something, like there was a chance that you would get double healing from a potion, and same for mana. And yeah, what gave you mana again? Intelligence or whatever. And there's some weird stuff. So if you drank a really big mana potion and it healed over time, which it does, if it healed more than you were missing, you could cast spells and use mana as it was returning to you. So like you could get full usage out of a mana potion sometimes if you could cast fast enough to exhaust your mana before the potion would fully restore your mana. Like, some really beautiful things happened here. And I'm kind of daunted to go into it because it really, I feel like it's going to control how combat happens. But also it was really tied to how the inventory worked and how accessible it was by just opening it and having the inventory right there on screen. Like half your screen. And you can still move while you could like move far away and then go in and click things and do stuff in your inventory and then click again, without really interrupting your movement and stuff. So how do I do this? My infinite inventory doesn't really go with this entire system because of like how you could drag or you could shift click and potions just move from one place of your screen to another. Your reserves are not going to be easily found. So you might only have the rack. And the rack, we could also upgrade like you do belts. But is that enough? And is there any validity at all in what they're doing nowadays with having a potion bottle that refills? and then upgrading a potion bottle as a piece of equipment instead of a consumable. It's like, I don't know. This is actually something I've been thinking about for years. I'm ashamed, years now, and I haven't fully wrapped my mind around it, except that I know I really want potions because shrines aren't coming up enough, and they're kind of the only thing that heals you in my game. You could hit a town portal and hit the shrine at the beginning of the game. But yeah, that's then a loop that we're enforcing for now, and I don't know if I love that. And game development's hard. I'm still amazed 20 whatever years later that Diablo 2 is still just so perfect. Like, I can't really find that much that's wrong with it, especially design wise. How everything just fits together so flawlessly. And I think it would be a mistake to go full grid inventory for my game. But anyway, I've been talking a lot. Now everyone's gone quiet. So how was everyone's weekend? Did anyone do anything cool? I'll show you what I was working on. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. So we've been working on, I don't know why I'm showing this. This is not the right panel. Here we go. Been working on the same thing we've been doing, but I had 2 days to do it all alone. And now things look kind of good. I'm going to say passable. Man, I'm chatty today. Okay, let's draw up the piece representations so we can actually see the beauty of the Mushroom Village as it's kind of shaped up. So yeah, hopefully it's somewhat apparent what. Ooh. It's a mess I gotta check on soon. You can kind of see the waveform collapse, wave function collapse, where we have like a street gets surrounded by houses. We have other streets. There's some collision problems. We'll get into that. Yeah, some of these things are actually wider than their counterparts, and I have to figure out whether I want to actually manually scale. Oh, that's a start. Yeah. Whether I actually want to scale the geometry, which I don't know if I do. That feels like something that's going to backfire. Like a big system I need to keep customizing for the rest of my life. And I hate systems I have to customize for the rest of my life. But also, as janky as this is, if you look at it from like a, on the horizon kind of thing, if we flatten this area and then throw everything right on the surface, that's not too bad. I think that would look cool if we're like walking up to it. We get some houses right on the street, that's fine. I've seen some houses right in the street. Actually have though. Anywho, this is really getting there. There's also a stand-in for connector. Find it. What was it called again? Action point arrow. Okay, maybe that failed. Let's try it again. Yeah, this has been going pretty well. It's like there's a start street, and then we have all of these houses, and we have one connector. Oh, you're called Village Part now. I'm dumb. Okay. There we go. So this is our stand-in waypoint for now. Yeah, so the last one probably did have one. I just forgot that it gets renamed. Not super helpful. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so there's a fair chance to get a similar small thing. And then all of that. We might need to weight some of them. Otherwise, we'll have to put in similar shape duplicates. That way we have more abilities to randomize that shape and connection style. This could work. But yeah, we're close with this. If anything, the fact that some of these spheres are inside of this frame is highly problematic. But yeah, we'll get there. And then I went a little crazy doing that. Honestly, pretty happy. That's pretty far. It's kind of close to what I wanted. Yeah, only some minor bugs, which, you know, it populates stuff. They're not totally on top of each other. I'm going to call that passable for now. I also have another little thing that I'm working on. So I found a bug yesterday where there was... How do I put this? We weren't exactly customizing the start inject point because my JSON had some quotes around the numbers, and then it's like, no, thank you. Thank you, I don't want that. Yeah, once we figure that out, we might have another little issue that we'll look at now-ish, maybe, because I'm distracted, why not? There was a fly buzzing around, driving me absolutely nuts right before I went to bed. I was trying to attack with a vacuum cleaner, like a handheld vac. No luck. Built like a tank, he was absolutely huge. One of them fall flies. Cool, okay. Here, some things happen. Okay, so our bug is that this looks like it is closer to being steep things. You know what, now that I look at this and I say that, I'm like, that's kind of weird. Is that really all the steepness? Are these all either mountains or valleys? So I think they'd be one or the other, because we have a threshold that we're checking. We'd either get mountains or valleys. Doesn't matter which, but yeah, this would be that. But then that should be multiplied by the biomes, and the biomes should be way thin. So we should probably print that out and figure that one out. That gives us something to do. Positive directions towards progress. But not labor, because today is Labor Day, and we don't labor on Labor Day, right? Right? Taking all the notes. And so you still playing Lost Ark? Tell me about Lost Ark, because I haven't really played it, and you can give me some insight on like How do potions work? How do potions work, and how does that make you feel? Man, I'm tired. I went on that whole tangent. I need a nap now. Anywho, this is we're not printing this out anymore. So that's the final selection that we're doing. We can do this one. And then let's do the biome one. So biomask. You napping? Let me not disturb you. Enjoy your nap. Yeah, I'll probably play Lost Ark at some point. But will it be this year? Probably not. There's too much going on. And I have a real itch for Armored Core. And as boring as the missions look, as annoying as the whole thing kind of, I remember really enjoying the frustration. Is that weird? Is there something wrong with me? But I'm watching all these like Souls streamers playing it, and they're complaining about all this stuff. I'm just like, ugh, you're new to this world, child. This is a game of heartache. This is a game of throwing out everything that got you to where you are right now and starting from scratch to rebuild yourself to defeat the enemy that you're currently facing. That is the reality of Armored Core. You recommend it if you have nothing else to do? Sounds good. Playing for your nephew? Hey, that's a great reason. That's dope. Yeah, most people in my family don't play video games. And then, yeah, I have two cousins that they're brothers, and they have lots of gaming friends, and we can like talk games and stuff, but they don't need me, an old man, slowing them down when they're playing Ark Survival Evolved or whatever it is they're doing. And they're more on it than I am. I'm making old people games into probably another old person game. This is the thing that came after Boomer Shooter, so maybe it'll work out. What was I testing? And I always get carried away. Oh, now I'm printing out everything. That's not great. You're all white. That makes sense. That's a steepness. I don't know. I guess that's something. And that's all white. What? Huh? I went from printing out 2 that made sense to me to printing out like 6. I meant to just be like 4. Anyway, the biome. Let's see if this is also the JSON. Okay, this I might have to build into the inject. Okay. Cool. Note taken. Let's just see what this does. Hopefully we don't even need a code change. You guys, you're ready to play Lost Ark with you? It's like, yeah, I've got, let me update. And you wait like 2 hours before finding out that Ark evolved and you have lost Ark. Oh man, that's heartbreaking. Yeah, like a better luck next time situation, right? Your weekend project was blocking a character in a pose you can't completely retopo. Okay. Picks? Catless, is this your Drainy Eye? Drain Eye? How do you pronounce that? The the goat people mixed with the genie from Aladdin. That's the one. Oh, it must be a good pose then. What's he doing? What is your character class? What's that? Oh, okay. Okay. That looks right. Yep, that's the thing. Yep, that's the thing. That's not... Actually, I don't even know what that's supposed to be. And yeah, that's also... What, huh? Why? Okay, so the biomask looks good. If not, is it backwards? Ah, it says another thing. Should true not be in quotes? It's not a string. Could actually to perform like a bool, and that should invert the biome. Yeah, we're all interested. And yet, Toast, what character class did you go with in Lost Ark? Not that I know what any of them are, but actually, I don't know enough about the game. I watched it a bunch, but I'm gonna be honest, nothing really stuck with me except that the graphics kind of looked good. I don't know. I was either distracted at the time or the story is very lackluster. It's also a story. Story is not the most important for these types of games. Okay, I thought that should have been inverted. You're still bad. Still bad. Oh, yeah, okay. That's the dumb. So multiply might be inverted for some weird reason. Made in the default stand pose, where they have shoulders back and the arms are too low, so they overlap with the torso at the armpits. A little bit of overlap's not a problem. But you know that I don't find that a problem. When I was working on the generic humans, I also kind of went into the same issue of like the pose I did wasn't quite right. So when I repositioned them, yeah, it almost became easier to get better realistic proportions. Still very new? No worries. Everyone has to be new at some point. It's not a huge issue. Just can't finish the retopo without adjusting the pose. Classic. Classic issue. So what's the plan? I guess adjust the pose, right? Okay, look. So these are the only places that cross over. Right? Now I'm confused. Oh, never mind. Okay, this is biomes that fit that specific tundra thresholds, color thresholds. And this is multiplied by, I guess I'm not doing the, or is that the only steepness? Okay, hold on. No, if this has this, this is the final multiplied together and where we picked as a start point. Okay, so wait, are we at a steep point? I feel like is this working finally? The problem with putting quotes in a JSON, which are totally valid. Can't even complain. Okay, yeah, that's pretty much the color I want. And steepness, I don't know, maybe steepness is working. That kind of feels like something. I've seen much worse alignment. If it was twisted, I also wouldn't be surprised. It's really hard figuring out steepness. Should probably just display the old texture. That's what you're thinking? Sounds good. Kind of feel inspired now to make your game? You should. You should. It's so I find it so much more rewarding than other things I could be doing, honestly. Is this back? Oh my god, it's backwards. I see the pattern now and I feel dumb. It might be more than backwards. Oh wait, do you see it? Do you see it, chat? I think it's the steepness is just off a bit. Okay. Or biome? Could the biome be? Alright, so this goes from half and then this curves real hard there, but then goes kind of straight. This is like kind of straight and then curves. And it's like, Yeah, the X could be flipped. Right? I could be imagining it. I'm an inspiration? Excellent. You also like the face to look less extraterrestrial. Yeah, I haven't seen a drainy eye in a while. Let's get distracted with that. Oh man, how do I spell it? Oh. Okay, thanks Google. Oh yeah, they have like catfish faces almost. Or the guys do. is safe to go on stream? You know, relatively safe. Yeah, it's blurring explicit stuff. This should be fine. Okay, Drainy Eye. So yeah, female Drainy Eye face is human-ish. Maybe a little pointy, and then, you know, the horn transition. But then the dudes, they're interesting. I could see where this is a tricky shape. Not gonna lie, I don't feel like it's the most aesthetically cohesive thing that's ever been designed. Do we trust you? So, what build? Are you doing something in between? Oh, is this the update? Interesting. So they went much more from human to more goat-like something. I don't know. That waist is so tiny. Anyone's waiting around here for me to make tiny waists, then you're in the wrong place. This looks so weird to me. The first one's fine. It's somewhat, you know, it's probably the skinniest that I would get. But then the thigh thickness is fine. Like it works with the leg. I like the knees. The arms look a little thick, but I'm not gonna shame. I like the hands, but I don't know. Her bicep is like thicker than her midsection. Anyway, just a base body so far. Well, I mean, hold on. There's a huge difference between the male and female Drainy Eye. Like, an I don't know. I feel like one's much more realistic than the other. Like the female actually has much more realistic human kind of proportions than this absolute triangle of a dude with Popeye forearms. Anyway, you do you. If you're eking out that middle path, I support you. All right, now back to this. Is this actually hard for me to actually rotate this and see what's going on? Okay, so we take this and we duplicate it. Hope I can rotate it. Need to move that down anyway. Okay, ISO from the top. Why does it look different now? See, I also get distracted. Is the biome just throwing me off? Is it really a thing? Don't think you'll even try to make any specific class and set. Oh, I just meant. Okay, I see where. Yeah, which gender are you going for though? Or yeah, the sex? Is that the right terminology? Which the sex base model are you going for? Sorry, I realize that it might be in tricky waters that I'm not great at navigating. No offense to anyone that might be able to pick up any offense from what I'm saying. I'm just a fool. Yeah, again, just because the massive scale difference in, I guess it is sexual dimorphism, right? Okay, I think there might be a scale thing. Might be just chasing an impossible dream of actually finding an issue with this. Alright, stop being an idiot. I'm actually probably going to just change it to the proper output. And chunk mesh. We'll go to steepness. I'm thinking about getting steepness for the entire world and then getting just the chunk that we need. Female, you figured if you don't get bored and distracted halfway, you might try male version too. Rip car. I feel like we need a little commemorative animation for the moment of peace. Car, we remember you fondly. And Wheel, you were fantastic until we couldn't make you smoke. Did you get one obligatory kobold in a car render? Car morphed into a smoke sim and that didn't work out. Well, there goes the project. Up in smoke. That's legit. Yeah, like me and waypoints. Where did that waypoint talk lead? Right, to me not doing much. Okay, something's wrong. Something's definitely wrong. Maybe every bottom right gets. I'll have to ride around and see. This is a little bit weird to me. Just down there. And we're gonna be working on this forever. See, now that kind of matches up. Just rotated. So if you're 90, can't select this water. You rotated yet? 90. Okay, you're the one that's weird. Because you're kind of weird too. That's hardening. That actually feels like it's lining up with the steepness a little bit. What if we do less blurring? I think I played with this a little bit because we needed world steepness for injecting. So I guess I should be able to push towards flat. Maybe I can get a nice big flat area. Oof, this takes a while. Okay, you know, we could optimize a little bit more. Maybe. I think the thing that takes the longest is finding the inject points for the quest. Okay. Look at all that. Does that seem right? Okay, wait, things are coming down from there. That could be accurate. This looks weird though. See, this should be a big depression right here. Where's that depression? It is rotated. All right, negative 90. Okay, so you get this dark area on this edge. kind of matches up to this. This is where it gets more stepped because it kind of builds up more. Right? And this part gets a little bit darker. Sorry, I think you can see that. So this is the chunk texture that I need to hide the thing for. Yeah, okay. I hide that. Then you can see it. Right here, I get like the red, which is the X difference in height, is how I'm doing steepness. So red is X, blue is Z, and G is supposed to be those added together. Or multiplied together? I don't remember which, probably multiplied. Because we're going around 0.5. Yeah, because we can't clip. So we want everything to be between 0 and 1, with 0.5 being flat. Okay, so that's rotated in the wrong way. Is it going to be in the steepness kernel? Steepness pixel. It's 90 degrees, right? Negative 90. Alright, let's try that. I think it's time to dive back in. And so wait, are you also done with Houdini? Or are you going to somehow Drainy Eye Houdini? Drain Eye? If you find you cringe how I pronounce things, just, try and correct me. It could work out. For the moment, at least. Okay. And there's some hair tools you haven't tried yet. Ooh, okay, that sounds cool. Definitely excited to see what you think of the hair tools. Man, everything has hair tools nowadays. Okay, should be a great example, hopefully. I mean, okay. Alright, yeah, so like that's flat. This crazy noise is a thing. This feels right. It's kind of flat. Yeah, I wish we could get the edges to be more. Well, I should look to see if they're a different type. We have like two different flat rocks. Yes, this one's different. It's not as sharp. I should really have made better looking placeholders. Hmm. Looks a little weird to me. Yeah, it might be fine. Okay, so darker, lighter. I should do it for the full thing so we don't get the black lines on it. And we also won't get the stark differences in neighbors. Hi, Ear. How are you? How was your weekend? Probably hate them as much as hair tools elsewhere because you're terrible at making hair. Hair's tricky. Hair's not easy. Good weekend is going on. Excellent. Canadian Labor Day? Is that a Canadian thing too? I'm doing well. I'm kind of all over the place with what I'm actually working on. But that's fine, right? Everything's good. I'm trying to get steepness to work, and it looks like it kind of works because we get this beautiful mess on the like steep sheer cliff face, and then some nice like calm, relatively flat tops. So something's right. We have some sort of success. It's good. Good. Get everything's at like 75%, which is, shippable, right? Canadian Labor Day, wonderful. Yeah, I was chilling, playing some point and clicks with the wife earlier. Good. I spent all weekend working on game stuff. Mostly working on creating a village, doing some wave function collapse. Why do I have such a hard time saying that? Wave function collapse, wave function collapse, wave function collapse. Anyhow. So yeah, we're starting to put together a little bit of a mushroom village. Hide some of the debug crap. So we have like streets connecting to other streets, houses that connect to the streets. It's a little sideways right now. Don't worry about that. I'm smitten with this. There are bugs, but yeah, who cares? It's fine. What kind of point and clicks? We've been playing actually, I don't know who makes it. Is it the Frogware? Agatha Christie's Hercule Poirot, the early stories. Man, that's a mouthful. Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot. The first cases, that's the one. This one. Mixed. Well, I like it. Not reckon. Just isn't. I'm having plenty of fun. There's one boring part, and it's when they gathered everyone and I had to talk to everybody. But when I'm exploring, I actually like it. And then they have mind maps in it, where you know, as you're exploring, you get like little data points, and as you talk to people, you get data points, and then you connect the data points to create new conversation points. It's been fun. I like it. Mostly positive. That's what you should pay attention to. Oh, microids. That's cool. Isn't microids the one? Wait, I don't want to say it. Thought they were working with someone that I knew. Anyway, that's dangerous. I should stop scrolling there. Yeah, it's dope. I really enjoy it, especially if you like, you know, point and clicks or mystery, crime, police work where you're the police officer and when the murder case is over, you are too. I really meant point and click, yep. It's one thing the wife and I like. We also do the hidden picture. That can be fun. The first game you ever played was called The Stinky Mystery, followed by Spy Fox. Cool. I don't think I ever played Spy Fox. At that time, you didn't really choose what you played, right? Whatever your parents got, you just stuck with. And I was Freddy Fish. Mm-hmm. Oh man, Spy Fox is just such a cool character. Man, this looks good. Who you? That's not the Spy Fox I know. And there's more? Interesting. Oh, someone made a short. This game's pretty cool. Great in with the furry community? I mean, I guess. He kinda looks like, actually, I can't let the wife hear this, because she'll get upset, maybe. So we're gonna whisper. Sorry. Spy Fox kind of reminds me of Manny Calavera. Oh my god, why are there all... Hello, we need 2D. We need flat. Where's the real one? Well, not like real 2D, real flat. Like 3D for 2D. Okay, you know what? You know what? Ruined. But you know what I mean. Manny Calavera, that's the one. It's like Spy Fox, Manny Calavera. Do you see how you just did a head swap there? I love it. Kinda love it. So Spy Fox died and became one of the coolest point and click adventures. Does waifu watch stream? No, she has better stuff to do. She has some sort of aversion to it. She stopped in once to yell at, well, not yell at me, to inform me about some details about the new Hellraiser that was coming out. And then promptly left once she disseminated some information. Still haven't finished Grim Fandango. I've seen it completed a few times now. It's the wife's absolute favorite. And I have to say, it is really good. Maybe one of, if not the best, of the LucasArts games. Like Monkey Island, I have kind of like a collage of ideas because there's a lot of games. And I feel like Grim Fandango might be just like a better example than any one Monkey Island game of like really great point and clicks. Deep undercover lore. Yeah, right? It bugged out at some point near the end, and by now it's probably been remade a couple of times, and you're still not done. Has it actually? Wait, yeah, I think it was redone once. We definitely played it for the remake. I think their wife pre-ordered and got like a PlayStation theme. Grim Fandango. Yeah, the remaster. Hey, for how much game this can be, $15 is not bad. And also, it has such a good soundtrack. $20 for the soundtrack edition would definitely be worth it. Did it even get a point and click interface? Something it should have been made from at the start, honestly. The steering controls are so atrocious and out of place. There's some things that you put up with and that you forget about. I think that's one of them. Yeah, the remake is so similar though. So yeah, all right. So yeah, I think it updated with some like contextual controls instead of the word bank. The word bank was fun. Like it was funny for the time period, Like it itself was the first joke you interacted with, where there would be some things that you would almost never use. And then because there were so many games that kind of had the same interface, you would have things like Leisure Suit Larry that would do it, but they would have like ridiculous things like lick, like you could lick almost anything in the game. So yeah, I can appreciate it because of the contemporary setting that it was released in. Really good job otherwise, I agree. Most atmospheric, yeah. It totally gets you in the mood for noir stuff. I'd watch the wife play it again. Because she remembers everything. She actually remembers everything, including the like parts that make it a bit more difficult to play. There are definitely some puzzles in there that you have to know. Ew, lick. Yeah. Do you know Leisure Suit Larry? Leisure Suit Larry is not for this stream. A little bit too risque for this stream, but very amusing. Okay, so all these streets are at least mostly filling in connection points between each other. Or not. Actually, what is happening here? You don't? Oh wait, okay, hold on. Let's introduce you to Leisure Suit Larry. This could be a fun throwback if you don't mind retro. So Leisure Suit Larry is always a game that's like for adult audiences. And are there images that I can actually show of Leisure Suit Larry? I mean, it's always been mostly fine, just like highly suggestive. So like there'll be lots of like phallic imagery in it, but it's like kind of disguised. You know, like a kid could play it and probably be very confused. Uh, let's see, where's like the original? Yeah, they're not all equal. Okay, wait, that Leisure Suit Larry original? Give me one. Because they're in the style of like the police quest games, I guess. Why do I remember them having a word bank? Maybe it's 2. I just know that there's no 4. Okay, you know what? I might bail on this. My memory's clearly not doing me well today. 3? Oh. Okay, so yeah, some of the early ones are actually like type in what you want to do. And you have to like guess. Anyway, I'm gonna bail on this. I know there was one though. It wouldn't be 5 though. That feels too late. I don't know. You know what? I redact. I don't know what I'm talking about. Clearly I'm insane. 6? We've gone way too far now. 6 is a nightmare. Whatever. Leisure Suit Larry. It was always adult humor. It was always really risque. And a point and click, like most other point and clicks, you find stuff, you use it in weird places, you have weird conversation with people, find out what they want, try and get it through weird trade games. Yeah. I guess I can't even prove my point though. Again, where's that thing? One last search. Nope. Failure. Alright, we're gonna forget any of this ever happened. Okay? Agreed, chat? Agreed? I'll have to do some research before I bring up this point ever again. Another feature those early Sierra games had, they really liked to kill you to game over a lot. Yes. That was another thing about Leisure Suit Larry, I think, is that they would just like game over you over and over and over. Some things there would only be one way to move forward. Like a lot of places you get stuck, but it'd just be like everything you try, they would kill you. Because it's more amusing to have like a fun death screen. Yeah, admittedly, a lot of these point and clicks, especially Leisure Suit Larry, I tend to watch streamers play these days. Because it's a lot. It's a lot to know. All those games were designed to just take up all of your time. And they did it so well. Okay, so these are overlapping slightly. That explains some stuff. So the villages should be spread out a little bit more. Base Quest even had some time critical parts, if you recall. If your save would be in the wrong place, too bad. Oh man, yeah. You could soft lock yourself pretty easily, I think, in a lot of those early games. Yeah, they loved that stuff. I don't know why. Just always seemingly in the wrong direction for some. Two, three, one, two. Oh, alright, so there's a weird bunching that I was having. Now I'm wondering if the bunching is happening because of how we're placing top and not on the sides. That's weird. I feel like when I'm rotating, something's not updating. Try it with something skinnier and just see what happens. You're 8 by 5, you'll now be 8 by 3. Okay. Okay. Wasn't there a bunch of games that... Oh, so yeah, there's like, was it Dragon's Lair? That was similar to maybe Space Quest? That was similar to... I want to say Flashpoint? But it might not have been Flashpoint, it might have been a different one. But all of them have like a screen by screen perfect progression thing where you pretty much have to redo most of the game if you're not using save states to catch up to where you were and just figure out which of the many options or very few obvious options you actually have to do to progress. Oh, Another World. That was one of them. They were kind of cool. But man, do they just suck your time. Dragon's Lair was an arcade cabinet. I think as well, yeah. But the format still holds. Right? This is the one where, like, right at the beginning, you'd have to do the thing, or you wouldn't even get into the castle. You have to, like, click on the drawbridge to lower the drawbridge. Just, like, douche move after douche move. Was there a non-live action one, or am I thinking of a different one? Never saw the legendary thing in real life? Well, what about the remake? I could have sworn they had a remake on Steam. Yeah, there's a lot of cabinets I've never seen. Yeah, okay. It did get remade. It is on Steam. But like, yeah, if you don't duck, then that bolt comes through and ends your entire run. And you have to know to press left, otherwise you're gonna smash into the rocks. Such a cool game. There's actually a fan-made one called Fire and Ice in this style that I kind of want to play. Looks really good. Had a stick that was made of short animated clips on a laser disc. Yeah, that sounds about right. It was all, yeah, pre-recorded animations, and you'd either like get into one of the death conditions or, you know, one very rare success, exit the room kind of animations. Did I just poke? Did I even do anything? Oh, I made them less wide. That's what I did. Okay, in theory, could be easier to debug. Okay, so that connected to that. To make this, okay, yeah, that's. Let's see what actually got filled. Do you need to make this all X instead? What does that do? We're so close. The issue is between marking things off on the map, invalidating those things, and having the points that we're checking in the right position. And the points in the right position's just a little bit of a quagmire. I feel like besides the shooter cabinets, the only arcade thing that I was super into was pinball, honestly. But dude, the shooter cabinets, not to be undersold. Those are amazing. That Terminator game. Oh, or the Jurassic Park one, where you're like in the SUV. I hear there's some pretty good VR ones nowadays. But who wants to actually trek all the way out there? That all seems right. Okay, yeah, and it filled at the end there. And I guess that's weird. It almost connected to, or it did connect to. Maybe one just got pseudo filled by a spot and then decided that it couldn't be filled. Oh, hey, that's not bad though. And I'll take it. Here's a street. It has a thing on it. Another street. It has some things next to it. Connected to another street. Some things next to it. We're good. Totally solid. And then there's the waypoint. Okay, so this week I guess I need to get this system into Macablo and actually get it populating things. Because I have to figure out where on the procedural world map we want to spawn villages. Then we can put the villages down. And once we do that, we'll probably find a ton of bugs. And we'll fix the bugs. And then it'll be hopefully a half decent system. Yeah, kind of psyched about that actually. And it was nothing until it was everything I needed it to be. So success. And then the steepness stuff. That's, I don't know, maybe still honestly a little questionable. So many ways that it can be kind of going wrong. Like if the texture being displayed is just, you know, the material wants to display it rotated from where it is. If the mesh itself is rotated. If the sampling is rotated. Kind of easy to spot when it's wrong. When it's right, it start second guessing yourself. But I need something. So even looking at Armored Core 6 today, in Armored Core 6, you know, it has nice rocks for edges of cliffs. It has cliff side rocks that it puts down. I was thinking today, what almost everything has a dumb mesh backer with some like higher res rocks on top, right? I gotta be able to do it. It's probably just a small thing, right? Isn't it always just one little bug that makes everything look so alien from what it's supposed to look like? And I'm scared that I'm gonna play Starfield and I'm gonna abandon the rest of my life. I have to stave off Starfield as long as I can. Hmm. Looks right. Maybe we just need to make sure that the range that each rock spawns is non-overlapping. Okay, but it's this weird. It's like half of it are flat rocks. Half of it almost are spike rocks. There's no super clear division here as to why that would be. But in the other direction... Okay, wait. We're gonna dupe this. We're gonna move it down a bit. I have this guy. And then rotate. Man, I can't select these stupid things. Water. Water, please. I'll never find it. Oh wait, okay, yeah, the sharp rock should be near it. Goodbye, water. Oh, okay, right? So if the flat are at the light, we have a little light strip over here, and we have a little bit of flatness over here, which means that the dark spot is doing the spiky, and we are definitely off by 90 degrees just for sampling rocks. That's weird. I'm gonna probably take a little screenshot. Okay, now that we spotted it, I feel like I have the power. All the power I need to actually make a positive change. Yeah, look, it even has this right where the light spot is. We got it, boys and girls and non-binary pals. We got it. I think. Now just how to implement. Where to implement. So first thing is place. We'll go right to where the props are. Place props on chunk. Then where are you, steepness? Here. Oh, I'm doing R. Oh my god, I feel like an idiot. Why am I doing R? Because R means something. That's really only the X. We want chi, which should hopefully be representative of both axes. Fingers crossed. But that still does tell us that's not it. We still need to rotate. Steepness pixels. Okay, well, I guess if it only gets used in one place, pretty safe to touch it. Oh, or maybe I don't need to touch this because I like how this works. Let's mess everything up here instead. You'll be an I, you'll be a J. Okay, play, new game. Any second. Really need to work on these load times. Which I'm trying to think. So they're important for speedrunners, right? Anyone that needs to start the game over and over. But a lot of people don't start the game over and over, right? They start it and they play, so chippable. And that could be a quality of life adjustment after the fact. Okay, that could be. Hmm. Hmm. I mean, it changes up a bit. I don't know. I mean, this actually is kind of encouraging, at least. I don't know what these guys are attributed to. I think I've accomplished what I set out to achieve, and now I just have to figure out if that's good or not. Okay, wait, these are flat single layer rocks? That's some data. Okay, well, wait, where are the laminar rocks then? You're all the lake skippers. Oh, there's one. There's another one. Okay, so those are absolutely flat. Oh, these are all absolutely flat too. Come on, give me something to work with. Okay, okay, wait, that's positive. I need to be more consistent. And I guess we get these guys, which we're not getting anywhere else. Trapezoid rocks. And one at the bottom. Okay, trapezoid is a nice indicator, I guess. Someone has to get all this other crap out of here. Do we spread? Maybe we spread a little bit. There is steepness. Okay, so maybe we should also get unlazy real quick. Okay, so let's say if we have it already, and we will just store all those pixels, I guess. Okay, it's gonna be steepness, so we only have to do it once. So world map steepness pixels, where we're gonna start. Okay, so this should be full map steepness. So I think the area proposed is only pulling out rectangles from textures, which is nice and convenient. Maybe we do that again. Anyway, okay, steepness being full steepness. Turn steepness. That is fine. We haven't changed too much there. Just storing stuff. Guess chunk steep. I guess we should do the same thing for height. That's based on. I think that there's a small chance the best way to do this is to just write a function that's going to convert, or to pull out the data we need from the array instead of going back to the rectangle. But it feels like that might also... So either there's the way that is easier to write and will probably create less bugs, or there's the way that's more efficient and could introduce problems. Hmm. We have like a make texture. We're gonna do it the easy way, that's less error prone. I'm really gonna need to redo this. It's gonna hurt. It's gonna wake me up in a cold sweat. Alright, we're gonna get the pixels for the area. Okay, so it's just area dot dot x, right? Which one's deprecated? Cast it all. Cast the world. Okay, wait. I make sure that it exists, right? If it is null, then I think I just need to call this. I don't even need to set it because it should set up inside. I'm very curious. Is this gonna do anything? Is this bomb? Is this gonna be my magic bullet? I guess best case scenario, we don't have lines anymore. Worst case scenario, probably just a bug we fix. Hopefully we don't have lines. Actually, no, worst case scenario in the long term is that it works perfectly, but I really need some sort of like high pass filter or median filter to pick out anything over the wide range. But it's kind of based on pixel breadth, so it should be fine. As long as the pixels keep breathing. Okay, we back, but hello? Come on. Clearly what I've done is wrong. Horrible. Yeah, that converting to a texture over and over is probably killing me. I just need to see it working. You know what? And then we'll do it the right way. Oh, and look at it. Definitely failing. But that one kind of works. Kinda. But that seems to be duplicated over and over and over. Are we at the edge? Actually, which part of the map are we? Beautiful. Oh, thank you. I mean, it is cool. I feel like I'm making weird abstract art all the time. Hmm. We're here. Kind of explains the striping, but I don't think it's going to be. Yeah, we're probably going off the edge. I think we want to go over the hump. Oh my. Okay, yeah, this is not the right way to be doing this. Making those textures so unoptimized. And then what's that? I don't know. At least I guess we have fun problems. I don't know why I consider these fun problems, but I do. Feels like it's mirrored. One day I'll get the wrapping back online. And by back online, I mean online for the first time. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so this one kind of looks like it would fit over here. Weird. Definitely weird. Oh, maybe I also did it weird. And why? Do it right and it won't suck, duh. It's gonna take forever. Okay, so yeah, next thing, high priority is actually making this more efficient. I'm glad I can amuse you, Toast. Oh yeah, this takes forever. But I'm dropping like 1,000,000 frames right now. Well, who needs those? No drop frames actually. We have to figure out what's even on shading. Looks right. Alright, so now we just try to make it more efficient, I guess, because it does seem to be lining up a bit. Yeah, this makes textures just ain't cutting it. Just gonna do it here. Okay, what we're trying to do, we're trying to get, it's just a sub-region of an array. Okay, so give it that, we give it the array. And return image file would be good. Just do area dot min dot x. X and Y. And whoever was designing the alphabet, why did you put I next to J? They look really similar. And when I'm trying to increment my incrementer variable, what do I go to? Obviously it's J. But if people are looking at my code and trying to copy, like, not really conducive. Thanks, alphabet. Could have been like K. IKJ. And then L, just scatter L. L just can't be near I at all. Alright, that should work. Image part. Size. Should be size. So, okay. Yeah, the size should make it so it's like the full width of the thing that we're going to do. Then plus J, and then make this an int. So that should be equal to part of the full image, which is, oh no, wait. Here we go, other I and other J. Right, so one's going pixel by pixel through the sub image numbers. Go backwards, but I think it still makes sense. This is sampling the full image, but then we need the sub part. Other I. I think so. What I need is to wrap the full image. We can do an int that is half length. Okay, root it. And then, yep, this was a good idea. But I think it's half length. Except it's not half length, it's square root of length. It's fine. No one cares. No one's gonna read this. the image that we're filling. So it's smaller. Thing. Every time we do this, other j plus equals. I mean, plus plus. Because it's prettier. Let's try this. Please. Steepness are stored pixels, and we grab the area from it and put our arguments in the right order. Can you figure it out, compiler? And what I do. So we do area dot size dot x times size dot y, which they should be the same, but you know, it's nice to acknowledge they're different. Okay, good. Maybe. So we're getting like the whole world map height, turning that into a whole world map steepness. Then we are chopping bits and pieces out of that in chunks. And then each chunk is sampled 1 pixel at a time to see what could go on it. It should be granular enough. And in a magical world, we could just do instant texture reads. No problems. You know, have the one texture, figure out where you're supposed to be, don't divvy it up. Someday. One more earful of mesh rebuilt. That sounds good. Literally an earful? Like the ear? Okay, wait, this feels wrong. What did I do? Hmm. am I doing? Am I just sampling wrong? I mean, why are they blank? Hmm. Alright, one dumb debug. Or we'll print out where we are. Of the pointy kind? As for your next trick. Are you gonna pull a rabbit out of your hat? Rect pixel. All of that. I'm like, this is a family-friendly stream? Oh no. Do I want to know? Do I want to know, Toast? What we're almost in for? Thanks forever, but I hope it should be faster. And I should set it up so I can switch between looking at biome maps and steepness maps. That would be mighty convenient. Especially for check to make sure that everything is like aligned. Because right now I have my doubts. It just took forever. Why? They're all like solid. Is it the steepness? Steepness bad? Okay, let's try just one. Also push 2, I guess. I don't know if 0.1 does much of anything. Again, it had to have done something, right? Because we are picking where we start based off steepness. The fact that we can even get this cliff face means that there's some data in there. Internet decided it's time to stop talking. I apologize. At least I only missed 4 minutes. My fault. I understand. I still apologize. Man, the internet isn't to be trusted. How's it 5:30 already? It's crazy how time flies. I wonder if storing all of them is a problem. It's almost like calculating everything on the fly, but less data, better than storing large amounts of data and pulling it. Which is a huge, unfortunate, huge thing. Words. Nothing. You should be the harshest. What I really don't get is it seems to be picking the biome might be a little bit weird, but it's at least getting steepness that seems like it should be right. Getting very consistent cliff faces, which I like. Steep cliffs. Mm-hmm. I mean, we can definitely make them not as extreme later. But it's nice to have the extremes to test with, especially when we're doing the steepness stuff. But yeah, there's a chance I might keep this in. I don't know if I've mentioned this before, or if you were around when I mentioned this, but I was having the idea that, so right now, if you go into the side of the wall, as soon as you clip in, you're going to get put on top of the cliff. And I was thinking about doing maybe a skill for earth walking, or like stone step, whatever you call that spell. So when you walk in without it, it will stop you. It'll put you back outside of the cliff. But if you have the skill unlocked, when you clip through, it'll put you to the top. Or maybe you can move around a little bit better. Thought that could be an interesting thing to go through. Seems convenient, right? Like a little earth elevator. But then I'd also have to stick with these like continental shelves, which I might be okay with. Especially if they don't hold you up and they don't look like trash, which they kind of do right now. But we're working on it. It's not like the height map pixels, right? I mean, that just gets the alpha, which is the height, which should be good. Hmm. Average, this times this. I'll get it. I might just need for the cooldown on my brain to be up. What makes the cliff face? So when we're putting on the continents, we put a pretty big divide between like the continental shelf and the ocean floor. So like, yeah, in the height mask, we actually have, yeah, a very large difference. Let's, should be able to show it off. Yeah, the Perlin doesn't tend to do that. It's all my fault with my texture manipulation. Hmm. Oh, steepness. Maybe we just need more contrast in the height before we put it through the steepness. Okay, and load in. Do anything. Okay, I'm dying. This was supposed to be optimized. Promise you. And I can, because we loaded one world chunk in, but not the others, it does feel like the steepness and figuring out each world chunk's stuff while it's loading is what's causing all of our new hiccups. Anywho, okay, so this is the world, right? Look into actual texture image. Yeah, you can kind of see that. So the alpha is the height map for this. So I assume we're in an area where it's like a border between having like a lighter gray and a nice dark gray. I guess we could be up here too. Yeah, we're in a place where we have like a sharp edge. Different terrain materials. Yes, it's something I might need to revisit, but I have an atlas that has like 4 different biome materials and it blends between them based off of the moisture level and the heat level. That was the idea at the time. Not like a fully fleshed out concept, but kind of makes it so you have more sandy stuff for deserts and grasslands and rocky stuff for cold places. Because like at the time, mountains were all cold. I have not really factored that into this version of the map. So yeah, that was kind of the idea. I figured I would put like snow on top of... Wait, maybe I did have a snow and a rock was like in between. Yeah, anyway, that slightly proven concept. Just like a shader that's going to read an area of the biome chunk and then just picks one quadrant of the atlas for, yeah, whatever it is. Actually, it pulls all of them and then lerps between them. And I tried to keep it so it was kind of the same texture that had slightly different color shifts, and I think the desert had more sand in it, so it got a little bit busier. But the rocks would stay consistent between them, so when we would do like a blend or a fade between one biome to another, hopefully all the rocks would be able to stay the same in the same area, and you're just having like the ground texture or the ground albedo, I guess, and maybe a little normal shift between one biome and another. That was the idea. I think it's still the idea. But I don't know. We're coming to the point where all the ideas are meeting, and I have to see where they don't quite fit flush, and then throw things out, come up with new ideas. And game dev's hard. Procedural stuff, also hard. Or, I mean, I guess it's easy if you have someone else do it all for you. Not a gouge at anyone specifically, just like in general. I feel like a lot of people see procedural and they're like, oh, have you checked out all these people that have done it procedurally already? So yeah, that's where we're at. Yeah, just trying to overlay the maps. But if steepness isn't going to work, then what do we have? It does kind of need to work. So it should store all the numbers. We're using floats and not halves, so we have a lot of room. So let's just try doing like 5.0 times whatever that comes out as. Hopefully gives it more contrast. Then we average it, so that might destroy everything that this is trying to do. You know what? I like to pretend I know math while also forgetting it frequently. Let's see how dumb I am. Jackhouse, do you have any ideas? I thought Atlas would be the right idea, because then you're just using one material to do pretty much all of the landscape, and then you need only one set of textures to do, again, like pretty much all of the material for all the landscapes. But that's limited to 4, so then you can, I guess, swap out the material. So if we had 16 biomes, let's say, we could have 4 different materials that have 4 different atlases, but I don't know, you couldn't really blend between things on different atlases. You would need to make sure that they are, and kind of like the old pixel artists used to do for Genesis and Super Nintendo and Atari and all that stuff. Like, within a section of the screen, you can only have so many colors, right? So it might be one of those situations where we just plan where all the biome transitions can happen and plan for which biomes don't transition to each other, or like which ones we would have to sacrifice. I don't know. I don't know. Trying to put too many textures into one shader is not exceedingly wise. So I will avoid trying to do too many biomes on one material. Some of this might also be rivers, not just continents. Oh, or mountains. The mountains shouldn't have like such harsh edges. And yet that's giving me absolutely nothing. And then why can't I, please? Thank you. And it's all blank. Yes, alright. The average is gonna ruin that. Because it's all the same. It's all proportional. So yeah, alright, so if we're doing it on pixel breath, I don't think I fully comprehend, unless, no, I don't know. I don't fully comprehend why it's acting like this. I can't say that it's a whole map issue. Like, yeah, it takes out the weird seams that we had, but I would think, and this is my problem, I would think the full map would have more visually identifiable steepness data, but it's completely washed out. But the data has to be there because we keep showing up at steepness places every time we start that are relatively the right color, so the biome's also working. So at least injecting's working. Is it a resolution issue? I mean, I guess kinda, sorta, but not really. Like, resolution issue would be like if you need really high resolutions for your planes, but we can tile the atlas. That's not a big problem. It's really just, well, let me maybe show you some of the code. So we have an atlas here, and then we have a normal map, and then the blend map itself should be, I think that's the one that's blending between the different biomes. And then on top of that, I was trying to do trails, which I got done, but then decoupled from the system that really assigned all the data. So you would have your blended biomes with a normal map, a map to tell it which biome it was, then a version of albedo, normal, maybe just albedo and normal, for trails. So you could put trails on top of everything. And then you would need something to tell you where there is and isn't trail. So like we already have a bunch of texture reads. And then this is, I know, messy, but this is kind of when it ended up looking like tons of texture reads for the main texture because it's atlas. So we're reading the same texture multiple times. And then we need to do that for the normal. And then we are actually mixing in all the other stuff, like the path on top of it and whatnot. Here's the thing. It's a lot. And you actually do get to a point where you can't do as many texture reads. Like, I don't think this works as not an atlas. If you had one image for each biome, then having like 4 images that all need to be read, with 4 normals that all need to be read, is already reaching like your maximum amount. How many do you get? I just know that it's like, it's a lot. The reading the texture is the most difficult thing in a lot of shaders. I guess text shooting. Okay, so according to this, which this guy is such a legend. Thank you, Mr. Snail. Shader can use up to 16 samplers per pass. And a sampler is reading or like sampling a texture at a specific UV. So I think if I'm doing Atlas stuff, that I'm already looking at 4 samples per texture. So I get kind of like 4 textures that are Atlas and nothing else, or I get 2 Atlas textures and up to 8 additional, including the masks to turn things on and off, and then like normal and albedo, and then that, I guess we have roughness too that we have to account for. Oh yeah, and then there's arrays. There's actually like texture arrays, which allow you to like cheat out doing stereoscopic rendering. Because stereoscopic will pass a special texture 2DX instead of a texture 2D. Yeah, so instead of a sampler 2D, it's like a texture 2DX. And whatever you do over it is actually done twice, and it's packing a left and a right eye. And yeah, shaders are really cool, but they do have limitations once you actually want to do stuff. Let me say as an artist, like doing code in a shader is fine. But once you want to bring in a ton of textures, that's where I find you start hitting limits. Because it takes many operations to actually reach the number of ops that you get in one cycle. I feel like it's 72 or something. Like there's a lot that you can push. It wasn't until I was doing some absolutely crazy world position sign warping stuff that I actually hit a limit, and it was just if I wanted to do it in the bad way. So yeah, in general, not resolution, more number of textures issue. But then again, if you made a shader that was procedurally doing all of this stuff instead of atlasing procedurally, that might be even cheaper. Like if you don't need any textures at all and you can just use noise, that would kind of be the best. Maybe that'll be a final solution. But there's so many ways to go about everything. Okay, so if I drop this, because that's not faster. Pulling world height map pixels. I think the world height map itself has edges on it, which are subpar. I'm kind of afraid if I go through the whole trickle down of making sure that we're getting a world height map and then getting a chunk of the world height map, or I guess doing the steepness on that, pulling out what we're already doing though. Pulling out the chunk and looking at that, it doesn't have the data we need. But I think I know the data's there because it is being sampled by another thing. I don't know. Glad it's almost 6, so I can leave this for tomorrow. Let's see if this is faster. Like I mentioned in my rambling earlier, I think it's been faster constantly pushing small chunks instead of having a big thing and separating it and using that. Cutting is slow. Calculating is fast. in this scenario, this is actually very contrary to how I usually function, where I usually want to saturate memory. Like a pooling algorithm, right? You want to like spawn almost more stuff that you need than you need, but then you don't ever want to spawn anything again. You want to have them spawned at the beginning, and then you can just like call them up when you need them. And that's less CPU work to spin up new models and garbage collect, and a lot more RAM because you're just storing stuff you technically don't even need yet. But I guess that's not going to work here. Wait, this is taking forever too. Gotta be drawing things. Okay, hold on. So we still have data loss in the other one. But this pause could just be that we keep drawing them.